You have to learn the technology, period. I don't care what industry you're in. You have to sit down and begin to master.
In terms of the tech world, I am learning as I go.
Don't even go there.
We
Don't
go
even stop
on
like
and on and on.
You can.
All right. Welcome to the Tech School Podcast, powered by DSDT. I'm Josh.
And I am Mr. Harris.
Mr. Harris, good day, top of the hour.
Let you tell it.
Come on, man. I know the weather is a little rough here in the D. I get it.
It's too cold.
It's
too cold.
Yeah,
you know, I've been here since October 19th, 1990, and I still every year have a problem with the cold.
You know what I like to say? You never get used to it. You get acclimated with it.
Yeah.
You
were born here.
Still, you get acclimated with it. It is what it is, and it's that time of year where
Yeah. You know, I was watching the Lions as they were in New Orleans last weekend.
Yes.
I wish so much I had gone.
Why didn't you go? You like to travel.
I love to travel. For some reason, I haven't had the opportunity over the last few weeks, and I am craving to jump on something and go somewhere.
Well, you know, they do have a game in Dallas coming up.
I don't even want to talk about it because I know
okay.
my nephew's watching.
Let's not generate any ideas.
Yeah, I get text messages all throughout the game. Like, look, we just starting. They're not going to be able to hold on to it. And actually, they pulled it off this week.
They pulled it off.
So
it was definitely scary.
Was one of the ones. Why don't we clap it up for our Lions? For our Lions one time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm looking forward to this game as well. They got to go down and kick the Cowboys' butt.
Yep. So what they got going on now, final 5-game stretch. They took care of business this past Sunday against New Orleans, as you alluded to. So here's what's next. Bears on the road. We have to take care of them. They're a below 500 team. The Bears.
They got to beat the Bears, too.
You have to beat the Bears. You have to. That's a division game. You have to take care of business. Right now, we're up 3 games in our division. Okay. After that, you have the Broncos at home. The Broncos are not really going away just yet, and that game has been pushed up to a Saturday night game on the NFL Network. Therefore, the Lions were getting another primetime game here in Detroit.
Hold on.
Yes.
What do you mean when you say it's been pushed up to?
It's been moved up to an evening game.
So it didn't start out in the
No. When the season schedule was released initially, it was labeled as a flex game, either the 16th Saturday or the 17th on Sunday, where let's say the Lions didn't have a good season so far, where they would have been your traditional Detroit Lions, quote unquote. There's a good chance that game would have just stayed maybe on the 17th, that Sunday, and just been a 1 p.m. game at home.
Okay.
But with them having a good season, making that final stretch into the postseason, the NFL said, you know what? Let's move that up to a Saturday night game. Late in the season, getting closer to the holidays, Saturday night in Detroit, NFL Network will generate some ratings.
That's what I'm talking about. So it feels good to know that Tech School Podcast isn't the only somebody that moves the schedule around.
Yeah, you have to be flexible, and it was labeled as a flex game.
Okay, so that's what I'm gonna start calling it, a flex schedule.
A flex schedule.
Yeah, just know that it might not jump off at 3:00 p.m. on Tuesday.
We're online, man. We're online. You know, people who are not tuned in at the moment, they can watch at their own leisure.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of what we do.
That's the one thing about being online and being able to broadcast when you want to. Stream, yeah. You don't necessarily, and I say this tongue in cheek, you don't necessarily have to stay just totally with whatever the schedule is. No. It can be off the cuff. And at the same time, I think that there are those that understand that this is broadcast at your leisure.
Yes.
You know, you're not held to the same parameters or standards, or are you? Because I mean, Josh, you are the professional at all this. Are you held to the same standards as those who would be on your Fox 2 Detroit network.
Held to the same standards in what regards?
As far as the quality of the broadcast, as far as do you think that those who tune in for your online broadcast are those that are just showing up because they want the information, regardless of how it comes, or they're looking and expecting it to be of the same quality production standard? Yeah.
Yes and no. I say yes because no one wants to get online and watch total garbage.
Okay.
I mean, bottom line, you want some thought behind what you're putting on.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
With that being said, with it being online streaming, say what? I think at least at this point in time, it's okay for it to have a little bit of an edge.
Okay.
A little rough around the edges.
Okay.
Are we expecting the mass TV production? Mm-hmm. No. But you want some thought behind it. And I think that's what we do on a weekly basis. Okay. Thought is put into what we're doing, as you do with any streaming program or lifestyle content segment.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Did you go to school for broadcasting?
I sure did.
Okay. I never knew that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
See, he's a professional. He's the professional here. I just show up. They tell me where to stand, where to sit, and just talk, because that's what I do. I'm a professional talker along the ways.
I'm a professional broadcaster, but in the tech world, I'm learning as I go. Kudos to my brother over here for helping me out.
That part. That part. Why don't y'all give him a round of applause?
Give Karlos a round of applause.
To the guy that shows up and helps. He shows up and stands with something.
Well, we give each other our flowers.
That part. So, all right. So, what's happening? Why don't we start on tech news?
Let's talk. Okay, so
first, we have to make sure that we give everybody an update about our scholarship drive.
Okay, what's going
on? Here at DSDT, we are in the throes as the year is rounding out.
Yes.
Of trying to place more funds into the scholarship awards. Mm-hmm. Now you can also go on dsdt.edu, scholarships and grants, in order that you would find out what those are, how to apply for them. One of the things I noticed was that there are some requirements with these scholarships.
Yeah.
So you definitely want to take a look at those. But at the same time, if it's on your heart of hearts, that you should see a opportunity for you to be able to donate to participate in the scholarship drive that we are having, then by all means, I saw that some of the listings at some of the values, they're like $5, $10. So it's not necessarily something that breaks the bank, but at the same time, you should understand that this is a scholarship drive that we've never had to do before. And
so why now?
The reason is more or less, and so I get into this great reason. It's just because the rules to higher education, Department of Education, it changed this year.
Okay.
It changed as of January early this year. So they have what's called a 90-10 rule. And the 90-10 rule simply states that 10% of all of your funding has to come from other sources outside of federal dollars. So that means that we've had to be creative in finding those 10% of dollars. So they can come from a number of pots, if you will, or funding sources. One of those being employers that you work with, or boot camps, or whatever the case may be. And one of those that we thought significantly to address it would be scholarships. And why is this personal to Karlos? Well, it's real simple. And I think you guys saw a little of this when we were at CreatorCon.
Yeah.
If you were there, you would have saw that I literally gave away, I think at the end of the day, it came down to like 11 scholarships for our AI prompt engineering course. And that was more so because we have to meet a quota at the end of the year. And a lot of times I simply give scholarships away. I've been giving scholarships away since DSDT has been here in Southwest Detroit, 2015 September. There has always been a need for higher or post-secondary education.
Yes.
And a lot of times individuals just simply can't afford it. So I know that there's a need, and when there are those needs, and based upon whatever the financial situation may be, I will scholarship. Now, unlike before, I've been told that I simply just can't be giving education away. And I had this issue before with the Department of Veteran Affairs when they came in and audited. I think it was 2017, 2018.
Yeah.
And they told me that, Karlos, you just can't be simply giving it away. And I constantly say, why not? Why not?
The reason was?
Well, because you have to be able to offset those dollars somehow, some way within the grand scheme.
And it has to be 10%. Of your scholarship funding
this year, it has to be the 10%, and
it has to be an annual mandate.
This is absolutely as of this year.
As of this year going forward,
annual mandate. Yes, absolutely.
Going forward. Okay, got it.
And so, because I can't simply just give it away, then the powers that be thought it best that we start the nonprofit that could actually intake some of those dollars and allocate them again to scholarships. That's the way traditional institutions do it.
Okay.
Now you guys know that by all means, DSDT is everything but traditional.
But you are growing.
Absolutely, but that's purposefully. I have always stated, and I maintain, the day that we become traditional is the day that Karlos really sees no reason to be here. You know, I am an advocate for those who don't necessarily have access and those who are looking for opportunities who don't necessarily fit the traditional models. They don't go into the traditional educational systems like me. And so for those like me, I want to connect them with opportunities. And in the grand scheme of things, it starts with education.
Absolutely.
You know, and so we try to provide them with the best in-house, whether it be the labs, the technology, the instructors, or whatever, to get paired with those opportunities. So again, I have the powers overhead telling me that I can only do it this way, and I try to do it as much as I can that way. But I tell you, it's so taskful at times. And so what help, if any, that you might be able to give us, I'm appreciative, and I'll leave it at that.
Okay, and therefore, once again, I use 10% outside donations, third-party donations.
Absolutely. Okay. 10% of my overall funding for the year has to come from other means than federal dollars.
Okay.
That's the more accurate way of saying it.
All right. Therefore, we have roughly until December 31st.
December 31st.
Okay. Where can folks go?
You can go to DSDT Holdings, HOLDINGS. And as a matter of fact, here you go, DSDTholdings.org. When you get there, you will find all the information you need to make those donations. And you can always reach out to us. And again, you don't necessarily have to make the donations. I definitely will welcome donations, but at the same time, if you're someone that's watching this in your social right now and you are in need of post-secondary education, some form of skills, trades, training in technology, then make sure you go to dsdt.edu. You look for the scholarships and grants tab underneath financial aid, and you submit your information so that we can assist you as well.
And look, let me be one of the first to say the class I took here recently has done wonders in my prompting.
Okay.
Wonders. Okay. Someone who, yes, I have a 4-year degree. I went to school for broadcasting. I have my career. I do this with you. But nevertheless, that additional education was quite significant. That 5-week course in terms of prompting, the way AI is evolving.
Do not allow my confidence to offend your insecurity.
Amen. What Deion Sanders said.
Right.
It goes a long way.
Yeah.
You know, folks who are seeking higher education, folks who are looking to expand their higher education, these types of courses go a long way.
Yeah, I think that today we're going to actually get into a lot of conversation around this whole where our skill set is now and where it's headed in the grand scheme of everything that's happening in the world with technology. All right. So speaking of which, what is happening over at?
Okay, so this really caught my attention, Karlos, because we always talk about we need to get the tools that are necessary or we're going to be left behind.
Okay.
Learn the tools or you're going to be left behind.
Yeah.
All right. So this year in 2023, UK venture capital firms really stepping up their game, pouring 1.1 billion into new climate tech projects. That's about building smarter, greener spaces for living and working. Apparently, the UK they're really rocking this out globally. Coming in third, right after us and Germany, most of this green cash flowing into London, with a big chunk going into projects that connect buildings directly to the energy grid. There's also buzz around climate risk management. Despite the tech world facing some ups and downs, climate tech in the UK is showing some serious resiliency and innovation. Big things are coming. Bottom line, the UK, when you hear about pumping more than $1 billion into climate tech, climate change, that is part of the ongoing conversation.
Okay, so my question, I've been waiting to ask this.
Yes, hit me.
Are you a proponent of climate change?
Wait, ask me that question.
Are you an advocate for climate change?
I think we need to be aware of climate change. To say it doesn't exist, it's a thing. It's a reality, if you will. It's a reality. We have to be aware. We have to take the necessary steps to address climate change. I mean, there are days, I mean, look, as much as I am going to enjoy 50 degrees in Detroit in December, when we were growing up in 1990, when you moved here to Detroit, how common was it for it to be 50 degrees in December in Detroit, Michigan?
Okay. So you're saying that that's all due to climate?
I'm not saying it's all due to climate change.
Okay.
Because you always have Mother Nature is Mother Nature.
Okay.
She rolls the way she wants to.
Okay.
And that's that. But nevertheless, 50 degrees in December in Detroit, Michigan, in the Midwest.
Okay. All right. I don't know if I buy into it yet.
You don't know if you buy into it. Why?
I don't
I don't know if I fully buy into it, but
yeah.
Do you question whether or not it's a reality?
Unicorns are realities to some people. Unicorns to some people are realities. Some people want to be cats. Some people want to be, so those are realities to them.
Why did I ask?
I mean, I just happen to have lived long enough to question a lot of things that are, kind of pushed across my screen. And so, but honestly speaking, yes. I don't have enough information on the topic to say yay or nay. Okay. I simply say I stand on the curtail of not really knowing.
All right.
Okay. But do I believe?
Do you believe?
I mean, I don't. So in my house, there's a recycle bin and there's the trash. I'm sorry, I put everything in the trash. I put everything in the trash. And so don't tell my wife. Do not tell my wife.
What?
Don't tell my wife. But I put everything in the trash. I don't do
plastic,
recycle.
Cardboard boxes.
Man, listen, do you know how long my driveway is? Right? And so there's right in the drive, there's two houses on my drive. The house that's down from me, Mrs. Marie. Mrs. Marie, every Monday morning, I see her strolling down the drive, pulling her bin behind her with the cardboard, plastics, blah, 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 etc. Right? Karlos is not doing all that. Karlos is not going to do it. Everything goes right in the trash.
But so Karlos, you doing that is essential to the environment. Recycling is a reality.
I just told you that. I don't know.
That has always been a reality as far back as we can go at this particular moment.
In existence, and they tell me that the world is 70% water, and I know that they've been dumping a lot out there into the grand sea. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But maybe we can get some professionals to come on here and explain all that to me.
Okay. Let's work on that.
Right. Yeah.
Work on that.
Yeah. I'm open to it.
All right.
I'm open to it. Give me a reason to tell me why I should be separating my recycling at home when it goes out to the recycling unit, or what is the foundation or recycling, whatever it is, where with the city at the dump. They recycle it all right there.
Well, but they give you two bins for a reason, because it makes it more efficient on their end to separate the two, where you have two different trucks who come up and pick up your recycling bin and another truck who picks up your trash bin.
So you're telling me then, if I was to recycle right there as the milk is completed and I throw it in the recycle bin, and when I go to take it out with Miss Marie every Monday morning to the end of my drive, which seems like it's about 2 miles away.
Hey, good cardio.
At 30 degrees in Detroit weather, if I'm walking it up there, then I'm saving somebody's job.
Yes. And you are helping the environment.
Hold on, when they just don't strike, didn't they get like $4 an hour increase or something?
What does that have to do with anything?
I'm trying to make sure folks got job security. I'm just trying to make sure some people have job security. I'm just saying.
Just recycle, brother.
Good God.
Oh my goodness. All right.
Josh.
Okay. Well, work in progress. I am.
Okay, all right. So what's happening with Google?
Okay. So Google. Hey, do we all have a Gmail account? I use mine. Apparently, Google is about to start deleting starting this week, actually.
Okay.
Starting this week, Google is going to apparently start deleting old Gmail accounts that aren't being used, that aren't being utilized.
I probably should go ahead and check mine because I mean, I have one and I use it from time to time, but I can say I don't want to get caught up like I did with X. When X went or when Elon came in, a lot of my account got deleted, and I know for a fact that I wasn't using it regularly, but I did sign in from time to time, and there was no reason for them to even oust me. But at the same time, I don't want to take time in order to follow up with them about it.
Give you a little bit of a description. Again, this week we're talking about some pretty big moves from Google. So starting on December 1st, which was Friday, rolling into this week, they will be going through and deleting accounts that haven't been touched in about 2 years.
Oh.
Yeah. Yep. That includes everything from your photos, those old documents, emails, the works. They announced this back in May. It kind of just fell through the cracks, apparently. And it's all about keeping things secure and tidy.
Okay, so I know I got a lot of photos that I need to go in there and take care of.
So, I mean, if you got an old Google account and you haven't checked it in forever, it might not be a bad idea to go check into it because you may have some old documents that are still needed. You may have some photos. You may have some stuff that you may not want deleted permanently. And I guess I'm a little blown away because who doesn't use Google? Like you have docs and slides and just so many different tools on Google.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that you just don't touch it.
Yeah. And you know, this is kind of like going back to the recycling thing.
I mean, it's like it's automatically connected to your web search.
Recycling. It's only so much space at the end of the day you do have, even on their service.
Okay.
So I can understand why they want to get a lot of that old stuff off of their service.
Oh, it makes sense.
Make room for the new stuff.
Oh, I totally get Google's position.
Yeah.
I'm just blown away that you have a lot of people who are not utilizing Google.
Yeah.
It's such an incredible tool.
Yes, I agree.
That's all.
I agree. Speaking of incredible tools, why don't we go ahead and bring Amber Boone on?
There's one more thing if she can sit tight. I mean, it's something that's happening here in Detroit.
We can do that after.
Okay, we can do it afterwards. Okay.
Why don't we bring her on and let her do it with us?
Okay, all right. Good deal.
Amber, what's going on with you?
I see you switched up the intro.
Yeah, I only look. I go where they tell me to sit down at. No, I didn't switch or do anything around.
Amber, what do you think about this new setup? What's your take?
It looks pretty plain to me. I don't know. I
got to do some things, right?
Yeah.
I have something actually a lot better and bigger and planned, but I just haven't had time. I wish I had the time that you guys do, right?
With so much time.
Some stuff.
I promise you I got something better.
Okay.
I got something better. Wait till next week. Wait
until next week, folks.
Okay, so here's my thing. Why you look so Christmassy?
I look Christmassy.
Absolutely.
You do look festive.
I have a pink vest on.
That's pink. Oh, it looks red over here.
It looks like a red. Looks like a reddish pink. It looks red.
Very deep pink.
Yeah, deep pink.
Amber, did you happen to hear this past week about what was happening with the electric car charging road here?
Yes.
So, Josh, go ahead and explain to us what's going on with this.
How about I show you first?
All right, well, show us.
All right. Let's play. Give me a second.
Josh is going to show us what's happening with the electric road.
There.
Tonight, the new technology that could redefine what it means to go electric. Here's Maggie Vespa.
On its list of claims to automate, Detroit can add America's first electric avenue. The battery was at 66%. We've been driving a few minutes.
Let me start that over.
Tonight, the new technology that could redefine what it means to go electric. Here's Maggie Vespa.
On its list of claims to automotive fame, okay, here we go. Detroit can add America's first electric avenue. The battery was at 66%. We've been driving a few minutes, and now it's at 68.
Exactly.
A public road able to wirelessly charge EV batteries as they drive over asphalt. The technology is under our feet. Like it's under the surface of the road.
Literally.
The secret, rubber-coated copper coils embedded in the road that correspond with a special receiver under the vehicle. The technology, developed by Israel-based Electrion, who touts similar projects in several countries, including Sweden, where NBC's Kelly Kobiea got a look last year.
So we're being charged right now.
We are being charged.
Tell me why this is safe.
This is perfectly safe. This system is only active when you have a validated vehicle with the receiver above it.
The price tag for the project to ultimately cover 1 mile of road, just under $6 million, according to state officials, who say the cost will plummet as they expand and in the next few years, license receivers to the public. Could you see this actually being used broadly?
I can, yes. We want to get rid of this myth of range anxiety. You want to know that when you get to a location, you're able to charge your vehicle.
Motor City, once again, hoping to lead the charge into America's future. Maggie Vespa, NBC News, Detroit.
Thanks for.
Beautiful.
What say you, Amber?
Listen, I think it's dope. The Motor City should be the first to have the electric avenue. That song keeps coming to mind. Like that song, but no, we should. We're the Motor City.
Bingo.
Okay.
Well, why do you have a moot point about it, Carlos?
I don't get it.
What's not to get?
$6 million for 1 mile of roadway?
Well, with anything, as it becomes more common, as it expands, the price will go down. Anything new. I mean, this freaking Mac I have right here used to cost a few $1,000s initially, but now you can get one for about $1,100.
Do you remember how much TVs used to be and how now you can get them like nothing?
Listen to her. She's asking the guy who was there before the TV. Yeah, I know. But at the same time, there's so much roadway within the United States. I think that there has to be a better solution than simply enabling the roads to charge these vehicles. Like, I know that there's a technology out of Atlanta. One company is outfitting even gas-powered vehicles or combustible engines with the battery technology, the ability to charge the batteries.
Okay.
So I think that would be a better use of discovery as opposed to simply the roadways. I don't get it. I don't get it. And I'm not trying to be a negative Nancy all day. I'm just saying I don't get that. I just don't.
I think
I love
it. I love that Detroit's doing it.
See, Amber, he knows I was a big fan of this story, so he's trying to play devil's advocate.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. And I know that Amber, aren't you from Detroit too?
I'm not from here, but
Where you from?
Lansing.
Oh, well, no one. We just found something. I didn't know that. Well, there it is.
I feel like we talked about it. Maybe we haven't.
I really enjoy it, guys, because it's just another step in the right direction if we're talking about EV. We have to think of innovative ways to make this transition.
All right, so I'm gonna say it.
Okay, just say it.
I don't get it mainly for this reason.
Okay.
I think that Motor City doesn't return to the heyday of the Motor City that it's iconic for. You know, and regardless of whether it be charging road infrastructure, I just don't see it returning to where there's 1.2 million people, which would be doubling what the current population is. I don't see that returning back to the Motor City anytime soon, specifically not in my time.
Okay.
Right? So yeah, we can come with these types of, I don't know, hypothesis, because to me, this is still just a concept.
Oh, it's definitely a concept.
But I think that there has to be a greater change in technology that would allow Detroit to gain the title of the Motor City.
Okay.
When there's so many other cities right now that's doing it bigger.
True.
Because you have the likes of Tesla.
You
know, and I mean, it is what it is to me. And I don't want to be the negative Nancy. I just want to be the person of reason.
Potentially a step in the right direction.
I think this is definitely a step in the right direction. You got to think, you know, we've made some not so smart moves. In my opinion, the Q line was so, oh my gosh. So like,
but since you put it that way, is this another Q line?
No, I don't think so. I think I'm kind of like, I wish that all of the money and time and energy that went into the Q line would have went more into this. I think this has the potential to be greater long-term and to step back in that direction of being the Motor City. I don't know what the Q line in theory might have been good, but ultimately this, you got to think like in California, you know, they have laws where they're trying to transition everybody to EV within the next couple of years. And I think as a whole, the entire country is going to be in that direction. And there is this anxiety of, well, what happens when my battery runs out and I can't recharge it? This alleviates some of that anxiety, because if you're driving around the city and you're on this road, my thoughts would be, are people going to just post up because they need to charge? Are there going to be parking lots where, you know what I mean?
only in Detroit. Only in Detroit.
Post up on Jefferson.
I can see post up on Jefferson. Post up over here by by Ford now. You just made me think. I was out with my cousin Dwayne not too long ago, and he has a new EV. It's a BMW 224 or something.
All EV or hybrid?
It is all EV.
Oh,
and so I'm out with him, and it's getting late in the evening, and he says to me, "Cuz, we're gonna stop and charge the car, because I didn't realize that I was gonna be making as many runs as he did back from Flint to Saginaw, whatever." And so he says, "I need to stop to charge it," and I'm like, what does that mean? You know, so literally we had to go to Bishop Airport for him to sit there and charge the car.
And Flint?
Listen, we did it. So
how long did it take to charge?
Probably about 15, 20 minutes. 15 to 20 minutes. And he was explaining to me, well, you know, you have the level 2 chargers and level 3s and the level 1s.
What level did he have?
The level 1 charger, somebody correct me, please, but the level 1 charger can get you a full charge within 15 to 20 minutes. The level 2 can get you there within the matter of a few hours. And then the level 3, which is the one you have at home, can get you there overnight. And he forgot, or he didn't plug it in overnight or something that had happened. But again, why do I want to go all through this in the beginning with a vehicle? It's a nice vehicle, don't get me wrong.
Yes.
It is nice inside. But however, just the whole not having chargers when I need them and I'm out and about and I've got to go all the way out the way in order to get to back where I was. Come on.
So I just sold a house that they had a level 2 charger in their garage. And it increased the value of the house because of the direction that we're heading in. And I think that as we start to add this technology to our homes and to our, you know, workspaces and everywhere, it's going to make it more realistic for us. Because what are the alternatives? We only think that going to the gas station is more convenient because that's what we're used to. But think about how inconvenient, how much I hate having to stop and get gas. I hate having to think about, I don't have gas in the car. I have to either go tonight or I'm going to have to wake up early to go in the morning before, you know what I mean? Like, We're already there. We already have the inconvenience of going to the gas station.
We're already there,
okay.
Carlos.
I never saw it as being an inconvenience, but okay, I hear you.
We're already
That must
there.
be why my wife never gets gas. Every time, if I go in the morning, I go to Tim Hortons every morning because she has to have a coffee and an omelet bite every morning. And so I get in her vehicle from time to time, and you best believe that it's on E. She never stops at night to get gas. I don't know why, because I always have gas at night.
Not even in the mornings?
The only way I don't get it. Okay. I don't get it. She just does not get gas. Maybe that's her issue as well. I don't know. We're going to inquiring minds want to know. We're going to have to ask her about that.
Why don't you get gas, Jamie?
Absolutely right. All right. So Amber, what's happening in tech news?
So a couple of interesting things. 23andMe confirmed that hackers have stolen ancestry data on nearly 7 million users, which is absolutely insane to me because it's not just like, they have their name, they have their email addresses, their birthday, they have their DNA data.
You cannot change your DNA.
Wow.
That's insane to me. 7 million users.
Yes.
DNA.
Carlos, this is a great one, Amber. This is big news. I mean, this is all over the news cycle as well. I mean, just your account information, your genetic information. Like, look, when most systems are hacked, change your passwords. It's time to change your passwords. Mm-hmm. You can't change your genetic information. You can't change your DNA.
Okay.
So anyone who has this information, that's a huge issue.
It's so far beyond me. I'm like, I don't even know. You don't even know what to be afraid of. You know what I mean? Like,
what she said.
Yeah.
You don't have. What are you going to do with a person's DNA information, their genetic information? What thought process do you have to even steal that kind of info?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. So, I don't know what you would do with it other than try to sell it. However, I think though, and I see it, I think that we have been trained so much so to look at things as though they're so private and so sacred to us, when in fact they're not. You know, one of the ladies in our MA program said to me one day, she said, Carlos, the government literally already has everything about you from the day you're born. You know, they get your footprint, they take blood from you, they have everything they need from you. So why are you so worried about what they have now?
I mean, the government, but some random evil spy hacker somewhere, you know what I mean, in a dark dungeon, like that's how I see it. I've got like this sci-fi villainous movie in my head when I think about it.
Yeah,
I like the imagination.
Yeah. But that's why they call it the dark web. They already have all that. It's already there.
And I think that's the thing, is the fear of the unknown. And not only that, but when you give your data, it's like, we know that when we're born, we feel like, okay, well, the government has all of this information about us. They have our footprints, our blood, or this or that or the other. But when you use a company's services, you expect a certain level of privacy within your use of their services. And they give that to you. They say that, you know, your information will be protected, what have you. Half of 23andMe's of users, their DNA has been compromised, or, you know, their data has been compromised. Half. That those numbers are way too high. They have about 14 million users, and almost 7 million of those users' data has been compromised. There's no level of security or sense of privacy to that.
Yeah, I don't
not knowing what can be done with that information is scary. Even if somebody already has it in the government or whatever, like not knowing what these why are you hacking my DNA? What is your reason for doing that? That's scary. And it is to sell it. If my DNA information is worth that much money, I want to sell it and make some money off of it.
Who said I want to sell it? Mm-hmm. I want to sell it. I'm with you. Right? Nobody, or Mark Zuckerberg or anybody else should not make anything off of anything related to me outside of me. Either cut me in or cut it out. That's my slogan. it will be nice to see what becomes of this. And I'm sure that we're going to be having a lot of conversations on Capitol Hill as to what happened and how we secure this so that it doesn't happen in the future.
That's nearly 6.9 million users or folks. That's nearly half of the company's client base.
That's what I'm saying. 14 million, and half of the users' data has been compromised. Those numbers are not
alarming.
Is that a lot of people?
That's
nearly 7 million people, Carlos.
Is that a lot of people?
Of their users
on planet Earth? That's a lot of people.
Is it though?
In the tech world, that's a lot of
8
people.
billion people on the planet.
And
say it again. I heard that number. Say it again.
I think it's just about 8 billion people on the planet.
8 billion people in the world, and you're saying that 7 million potentially had their DNA compromised. Is that a lot of people in the grand scheme of things? I'm just asking a question. Inquiring minds want to know.
So my math isn't the greatest, but isn't 7 million like 10% of 8 billion? About like maybe 9%?
No, it's not.
No,
no, it's not. It's not. It's less.
I don't.
It's
I don't
actually
even,
less than 1%.
I don't even know how to answer that question.
It's less than 1%.
These numbers are too big. Okay, when I
8 billion.
I never thought I would.
8 million. 8 billion would give you no. Come on, give it to us. Somebody.
Oh, I'm not touching the math. You embarked on it. You embarked on this. I just never thought I would be asked if nearly 7 million people are a lot.
It's not a lot.
Wow.
In the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things.
But when it's half of their users, that is a lot, because that is half of the people that entrusted their information with this company. Half is a lot. Half of anything is a lot.
Is it?
Amber has a great point there.
So
give me $500,000. Give me half of your income. Tell me that's not a lot.
Hold on, you done went too far now, sister. Bag up.
Hey, those are numbers. Those are numbers.
You done got too personal. Stay away from my data.
Yeah. Give me half of your earnings.
There you go. That's a lot, right?
If I'm already giving wife half, and then I give you the other half, then what am I gonna have? All right. I get your picture, but we need to do that math though. Somebody please do it. Marco, maybe you can do it on your end and tell me in the chat what is 10% of 8 billion people.
Yeah, I think.
All right. What's happening at TikTok?
Okay, so I don't know if you guys remember a while back, Montana had a ban on TikTok that you were not going to be able to download any new users. We're not going to be able to download TikTok. You weren't be able to use TikTok within the state limits. None of that. Well, a judge has since decided that that's unconstitutional. Can you believe that? Which I already knew was going to happen, because so there is a pause on the ban for now. I don't think that it's ever really going to be banned, but right now, they passed it, and now it's a temporary hold on that.
But you already knew that was going to happen, didn't you?
Yeah, because that was unconstitutional. I'm not even a lawyer. I'm not a judge, and I knew that. Common sense tell you that. Any elementary, understanding of the law would tell you that.
Yeah. I kind of figured that as well.
Make it make sense.
And I was just telling someone,
you're in Montana, you're safe to use TikTok for now.
I was telling someone over the last few days that, a lot of time our government officials will do things and they will get away with it for that time until you have the redress in court. And you'll go to court and say, hold on, you can't do that. You weren't supposed to do it. So give it back to them until blah, blah, blah. Now, of course, it'll be appealed.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be appealed to the next level if they want to take it up. But some things you just don't have to take up.
Yeah. And my concern is, how much money and time and effort is being wasted on this. And there's so many other pressing issues that this energy and money and time could be redirected to.
Oh, are you talking about kind of like the road that they're building 1 mile stretch of it for $6 million? I'm just saying. I'm just asking. Inquiring minds want to know.
If anything was a waste, it was the Q line.
Hold on now.
Stand on that.
I don't want to go. Josh, let us do it. You can't do it. What about the people mover? Since we're going there.
Oh, leave the people.
What about the people mover?
I love the people mover.
Yes.
The people mover only.
That's a Detroit staple.
It may be a Detroit staple, but it only does what 2 miles, 2.5 miles.
That's part of the charm.
I lived downtown and I used the people mover almost every single day, and it got me where I needed to go. I had no issues. I love the people mover. Oh my gosh! Listen. Don't get me started. I love.
Are you serious?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
See, I'm gonna have to go for a ride with y'all one day on the people.
If you live downtown, or everything that I needed was down there. The doctor, my job, like everything was right there, and I could use the people mover to get to anywhere I needed to go. And if you want to go out, you can go out. You don't got to catch an Uber. You don't got to drive. You got to worry about parking. You just hop on the people mover and go home after.
Do you have a video on your channel about this?
I don't, but I should.
You absolutely should, because you just sold me. But at the end of the day, I lived downtown for almost 4 or 5 years, and I never rode the people mover, not one time.
You missed out.
Did I?
Yes, you did.
Great.
Well, I guess I'm gonna have to wait till the summer because it's too cold.
Yeah,
now.
it's too cold. Yeah, it's cold. It's cold.
All right. So what's happening? Lastly, over with.
So there's a study from Oxford that is now saying that internet use does not harm mental health, but that the research has its limits. Now, they're saying that there's no smoking gun. So while there might be some, we'll say, circumstantial evidence that internet use and social media use is harmful to mental health, there's no one thing that's saying this. It's absolutely harming people's mental health. There's obviously arguments saying that teens are blaming Instagram for their body issues, but there's no smoking gun evidence to support that. However, the person who did this study, his name is Andrew. It's a Polish last name, which I practiced pronouncing before we got on, and now I forgot. It's like Schlowowski, something like that. But he's also done some things for Meta, so he might be a little biased. I don't know if we can trust his opinion.
Oh, I thought we were actually on a love fest with him until that last part. I'm just saying. What about you? What say you in your professional opinion?
I do think that there is, but here's the thing. You can have a lot of circumstantial evidence to support something and still, in the court of law, not get a conviction. So I believe there's enough circumstantial evidence to support that mental health is affected by social media and by internet usage. However, yeah, I think that there is no one thing that it's like, this is absolutely proven that it's harmful to mental health. But I think common sense will tell you that it's harmful to mental health. I think anybody who uses the internet, anybody who has an addiction to the internet or to social media, or who gets those dopamine hits every time they get a notification. If you put your phone up and you're using it and then you put it down and 2 seconds later, you realize your phone's back in your hand, you're back on the app. Why? Because you need another hit of dopamine. Yeah. I'd say it's absolutely harmful to mental health.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you, doctor.
Dr. Amber Boone.
Doctor to being a lawyer, and shout out to thank you, Marco, for letting us know that 10% of $8 billion is 800 million.
Yeah. So you were right then, Carl. Right off the top of your head, look at that, just under 1%.
Less than 1%.
Yep.
So is again in the grand scheme of the people being on the work in the world, you said a lot of people really are.
Yeah.
Still a big number.
Said, well, if I can just save one, if I can save just one, but there's 8 billion people in the world. You need to save more than just one, brother. I'm just saying.
We save one at a time.
How much can be done with the data from 7 million people? They could start a whole new species. They could start, I'm like, I don't know.
Oh, I never thought about that. That would make for a great new show.
If you think about, if you had the data of 7 million people, like companies would kill for that kind of information. The data of 7 million people, you could do so much. That is such a huge data pool.
Yeah, they already have it. They already have it.
They already had it.
They already have it. And they already have been using it. I'm just saying. So definitely. Look, Amber, I appreciate everything that you've done. Again, you look mighty festive over there.
Yes.
If someone wanted to make sure that they checked out your channel because you were going to do a video coming up about the people mover and why we all should be taking it downtown Detroit, where would they be able to find you at?
Get Real with AB.
Get Real with AB. Everybody, Miss Amber Boone. We'll see you again next week. Thank you. Hey, did you check out last week when we had AI Amber on?
I thought he said he wasn't gonna do it.
He had AI Amber on. Definitely want to give a shout out to the guys.
I gotta go look at it now.
It was AI Amber too. It was AI Amber. Look, we'll see you again next week. I appreciate everything. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Bye, Miss Boone. Bye. What, right. Margo? What happened to you didn't give her a big round of applause and all this stuff? What are they doing back there? You should be have those big numbers. Yeah. Hey, why don't we go ahead and run a commercial? Okay. Pay some bills before we head into the next segment. Can we do that?
Yeah, let's get it.
All right, then. Commercial, everybody.
And as a student, I understand how procrastination and laziness can hold you back. However, I also know the importance of taking action and pushing yourself to achieve greatness. That's why I urge you to take action now. Enroll in DSDT. We got hands-on experience, so don't let laziness hold you back from achieving your dreams. So take the first step and enroll in DSDT today.
Looking to start a rewarding career in the healthcare industry? Look no further than DSDT's Medical Assistant Diploma program. Our program offers hands-on training in a real-world setting so that you can learn the skills needed to succeed. In the span of only 9.5 months, you'll receive top-notch instruction from experienced healthcare professionals, giving you the confidence you need to excel in such a high-demand industry. So why wait? Invest in your future today and enroll in DSDT's Medical Assistant Diploma program. You can do it.
All right. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. And for the last part of our episode today, Karlos, you started off something called, what do we have here, in ed tech?
Yeah. You said it as if you don't know what ed tech is.
Educational tech?
Absolutely.
Oh.
Educational technology.
Oh. Okay.
And so it's actually a thing. And I don't know why I've been down this rabbit hole, checking out a lot that's been going on within our space.
Yeah.
As it pertains mostly to the growing of the school. And so there are definitely some conversations that I wanted to bring up and have a discussion about today, such as, why don't we just go ahead and get started? U.S. students slower than other globally to adopt generative AI, survey reveals. Now, Josh, as one who has taken the AI prompt engineering course here at DSDT, why would you figure that, or can you believe that the U.S. students would be slower than those around the world to adopt to this technology?
An initial thought that comes to mind is a lot of us are very materialistic. We're caught up in the fashion, the etc., rather than sometimes looking deeper, looking ahead to what's coming.
Okay.
And I feel other places sometimes, I'm not speaking in absolute, but just sometimes have us beat in that category. AI, even though it's evolving, is it sexy yet? Is it trendy yet? Is it, well, okay, it's trendy, but it's just.
What do you mean when you threw me off when you said sexy?
Look, I mean,
AI gotta be sexy. What? Is that the new, criteria that we have to forego?
Again, I'm not speaking in absolute. I'm not speaking across the board. I'm just speaking in observation in various situations.
Okay. All right. So
here, I just feel like we're just thinking about simply what's in front of us, what you're supposed to do. But you also have to look ahead. It's a balance of focusing on what's in front of you, but also looking ahead. And AI still kind of falls in that what's ahead.
Okay, I get it, and and wholeheartedly I agree with you. So, something that came out of the study, it says that only 10% of the U.S. university students, post-secondary, are frequent AI users compared to 23% in the rest of the world. Only 10%. Now we just had 10% of 8 billion is 800 million.
Yes.
So globally, what are the numbers as it relates to university students? But we're showing that there's more students abroad that are using AI or these large language models than there are in the United States. So when we, you got to think to me as to why you have like the Department of Education that was created. It was so that we could retain being somewhat competitive.
Yes.
Globally. Anybody remember Sputnik, right? When Russia actually sent this satellite into space? Then all of a sudden, United States says, well, we got to make sure that technically we stay within the race.
Yes.
And so therein was created the Department of Education. Now, here we are, we're looking at probably one of the most transformative technologies of anyone's time. I could almost venture to say of all time. And yet our university students don't see the need, or maybe this report just got it wrong. You know, I mean, it could be somewhat slighted. So I will digress a little.
Okay.
But I will state again that there definitely should be more usage among our college goers than what this report actually says. Dramatically, about 22% of United States students are not familiar with and do not use AI tools, as opposed to about 12% of their global counterparts. But again, our United States students are getting slighted.
Yes.
You know, they're not even using this technology. And I find that so difficult to believe or want to believe, because I got 2 college students in my fold.
Have you been able to pique their interest?
Of course. One of them, well, actually both of them, they work for us, and definitely the younger one who helps with the social media. Her job is made ever so more easy, given the fact that we've had the beginnings of Chat GPT. You know, so had her on board early on, even though one of the first comments to her was that we can't use that because they say at school that, you know, we'll get in trouble for it. I don't care what they say at school.
Oh, no.
You know?
Well, okay. So here was part of the problem with Chat GPT early 2023, earlier this year. Oh, yes, please bring in that Sprite. My brother has been up since 2 a.m. I can use a little caffeine, give me a little thirst. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciate it. Like family here, man. Looking out for a brother. Looking out. Much appreciated. Okay. So this was part of my issue with Chat GPT initially.
Okay.
Where the concern of, is it plagiarism?
Okay.
Are you using Chat GPT, which is of course a form of AI, as a way of doing the work for you?
Okay.
Instead of using it as a tool to guide you into fulfilling the task.
And so what say you now?
And for what I say now is, it's a tool, not the source. Like, you don't use Chat GPT to write your paper. You use Chat GPT to help you with research for your paper.
Right.
And if you know how to prompt properly, then that could elevate your research and make you that much better.
Okay, fair enough.
But it's not the be all end all.
Absolutely right.
That's this right here.
Yep.
It has to always be this.
Yeah. All the more reason why you have companies now like your OpenAIs and your Anthropics and Microsoft, who have these models, and they also have programs to where they have what, like OpenAI has Code Shield, meaning that if for any reason you would be sued or anything legal that would be taken against something that you were to get from its models, then they would actually come to the legal aid and abet you within that matter. So just the how we're seeing things change as we move through the legal aspects of using these devices. But again, here we are using a tool that perhaps is the most transformative of all times. I mean, we're going from being an industrial age to going into an information age, to where we have this tool at our availability, and yet a lot of people aren't using it. And so I say that you got to think again, ChatGPT is only, well, it's really been released to the public in the version that it is since November 30th of last year.
Yeah.
But it was still being used before then. The model was actually available, but in a developer's mode. What I'm saying is simply this: you have the beginnings to get in the initial stages, as opposed to waiting 5 years from now.
Do not wait 5 years.
No,
from
you
now.
know, you know what I've also noticed, and shout out to Crypto Blood, who I was in text with last night.
Okay.
Did you know that Bitcoin was making a rally? Bitcoin, in case you guys didn't know, Bitcoin's up to around 42, 43 a coin right now. Yeah. And if you remember back in like April, it was down to like 15K. And it's up to 42 now. I was like, and I hadn't been watching it. It's just so many other things that are going on within the tech space. But definitely, I want to give a shout out to Crypto Blood, who I'll be having on perhaps in the upcoming weeks to give us a kind of update as to what's happening within his space.
Always a good conversation.
Absolutely. And again, getting back to this piece, of the leaders who view the role of AI in higher education, this is something significant for me. As one of the leaders here at DSDT, a significant higher number of global leaders, about 38%, as opposed to about 16% of U.S. leaders believe that AI will revolutionize teaching and learning methods. Only 16% of United States leaders, institutional leaders, believe that this is going to revolutionize. Are you serious? What rock are you living under? So from my perspective, the rock that you live under is the one that says the ship is sinking and I want to make sure that we stay relative. This is what this tool has allowed a lot of us to do. So much so that we can break the chains of a traditional education. I mean, a lot of the reason why education was introduced to the general public and it was standardized in the way that it was because a lot of people simply didn't have access. They did not have access. And so we had, the common schools that were created, and we had the Freedmen's Bureau that created schools. I mean, we just had all these new tools that were used in order to make sure that the populace could be educated. Well, now we have this thing called the internet.
Yes.
And the internet allows for anybody and everybody to be educated. Not necessarily, we don't have to have a standardized education, which we understand that a lot of things are simply allocated that way because of whatever the reason and whatever the particular biases of whether it be the government, the institution, or whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, we don't have an issue with people having access to information, not like we did. And I say that tongue in cheek. Because we still understand that there is a thing called the digital divide. And that digital divide means that a lot of communities still don't have equal access as some of the rest, which means that the opportunities aren't as great for them as those who have access to the technology. So, all right.
It's a heck of a tool.
Yeah, it is. It is. I just think that we do a disservice to anyone who believes that they ought not to be using it for what all intents and purposes right now, because I can guarantee you, if you're not using it, then you are a victim of it. Think about that. If you are not using the tool, you are a victim of the tool.
I mean, again, I've heard from personnel in my own industry saying AI will be part of it. AI is evolving.
It absolutely is. And even more to the point that if you're not aware of what the tool can do, and you're not watching all of the updates and things that are capabilities that allow it to do X, Y, and Z, then ultimately you're the person that is at the worst end of the scammer or the person that wants to use it for whatever the ill-gotten gain is. And why should you have to be that person when you have all this education around you, specifically at DSDT, where we can train you and you'll be one of the persons in the forefront of this as opposed to the back end, and you'll understand exactly what it is and know what to look for should it come your way.
It's right in front of me.
Yeah, absolutely. So definitely want to make sure that we have as many people getting connected with these opportunities to be trained. And speaking of training,
yes,
Amazon aims to provide free AI skills training to 2 million people by 2025 with its new commitment. Now, is 2 million people a lot of people? Is it a lot of people in the grand scheme of things?
I don't know how to answer that.
It's a lot of people.
Thank you. I'm glad we got that sorted out. I'm glad.
People's a lot of people, right?
Yes, I'm glad we got that sorted out. Good. Okay.
Joking. But 2 million people are going to be trained. One of the significance of this platform that I particularly like is that they are kind of leveling the charge of upskilling individuals so that they can meet this demand. They're saying that the potential for workers with AI skills to earn up to 47% more in salaries. Now think about that. For the lady who was just talking a minute ago and was saying to me, I will take half of your salary, or half, or we're saying that these skills are so much in need now that people need to be trained, better trained, so that they can have equal opportunity for the financial gain that is coming with this. So they said that we're going to offer a program that will allow these individuals to be trained. And I don't know about you, but I actually have thought about taking this training. So they have these 8 different modules, and they are quite naturally built around the whole Amazon ecosystem, but it gives you some of the fundamentals of what generative AI is, as well as machine learning. And I've looked at these, and one of the things that I found were that you get certificates from Amazon, and these courses are like an hour long, 3 hours long. So they're not really, they're not the breadth of a DSDT course.
No.
Right? But they'll get you the certificates to be able to say, hey, look, I kind of understand what's going on. And
the time it takes you to watch a movie.
Absolutely. And so, but if you take this and build upon it,
yes,
then you will set yourself up to win as you're having, whether it be interviews or opportunities as a whole.
Absolutely.
So I definitely, I'm actually thinking about doing some of these, and I'll give you an update as we move on.
Please do.
As to whether or not I did. And then lastly, switching off, Sweden says back to basic schooling works on paper. Now, I didn't know kind of what this was all about. And so we have these 2 political arms within Sweden that are arguing over whether or not children should have more access to digital devices. And then you have those that are traditionalists, and they believe that these devices are ruining them and they need to be trained more, still using paper and pencil and blah, blah, blah.
I do see merit behind that statement. Because let's say, well, for one, writing.
Right.
You have to get a pen and a paper.
Yeah.
And you have to learn the craft of handwriting.
Okay.
Now, granted, as we have become adults, we're all boop, 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 boop. Don't even need to boop, boop. I mean, we're at it. Therefore, much of our handwriting now is chicken scratch. But you need to learn the craft as a child. You just need to. And then as time evolved, you become more tech savvy. Sure, you make that transition, but it's teaching a person how to have good manners, how to do chores around the house, learning how to read, how to write. It's just some things that are fundamental in our existence.
Okay.
It doesn't, and with technology evolving, it shouldn't replace it. Again, they are tools, not the main source.
So I kind of differ.
Okay.
In the sense that I think of hieroglyphics, where we've come from as the Egyptians and the Samaritans were carving on these stones, and they were leaving these images and this writing, if you will, into these tablets. And where we are now with a culture that still communicates in that fashion, right? Where will we be in another 100, 500 years? Is it as practical to believe in the near future that this young generation need to learn how to write on a paper and with a pencil as it was in our day? And we're talking about, and well, specifically my day, we're talking at a time when computers weren't really available as they are today. There were no cell phones. There was no internet, So now to me, writing in the near future becomes, hey, Siri, send a text message to Josh for me. I would like for you to tell Josh that I will talk to him later after the podcast. Send it.
What do we have here? Yes, I will talk to him later after the podcast.
And so that becomes, why do I need to learn how to write when the GPT, the device that I have, will do all of that for me now? I mean, when I was younger, we needed to have maps. Maps would take you everywhere that you needed to go. Why do I need a map now?
You don't.
You don't.
Why
do I need these things still, except for the mere fact that as a government official, you are a purist, you are a traditionalist, and you don't want the old to be forgotten about. It's going to happen. Now, is there still relevance to our children learning to write with paper and pen? Of course there is. And maybe that should be, taking place in those, I don't know, maybe to the third grades. But after that, there's no need for you. There's no reason for you to be in a library somewhere looking in books. For what?
Ooh.
I got more books, as Bezos said in his movie. There's literally more books on this device than there are within the entire libraries in the world. Right here. There's no need for it.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. The maps were a good point. They were a good point. Okay. Okay.
All right. So this week in our DSDT segment, we want to hear from one of our instructors here at DSDT, Mrs. Jasmine Majors. Explains why DSDT.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Jasmine Majors, and this is my why DSDT. Here at DSDT, I'm an instructor for the AI program and then also full stack development. I meet with my students one-on-one to understand and learn their career goals and also their professional goals. Even though the Prop Specialist program is only 4 weeks, the student learns and maintains a lot. Seeing them so happy about the projects they build always makes me smile. So the students I get to meet have a wide variety of backgrounds. Whether it's personal, professional, or for their career, they really get to integrate AI into their lifestyle, which helps them advance in life in general. So whether you're a business professional or even an entrepreneur, we wear many hats, and AI should be one of them. Enroll at DSDT.
Well said, Jasmine. Well said.
Sound like you had a hunkering for Jasmine.
Well, she was a great instructor.
I knew you was gonna say that. She was your instructor.
Yeah, she was a great instructor.
Bam. Yeah.
Good stuff.
I'm pretty fond of Jasmine as well.
Mhm.
Very knowledgeable.
Yes.
All right. So
right on. Sister.
Once again, great show, Josh. Great show. Glad to have you.
Thank you, brother.
And I look forward to the next conversation that we'll have next week.
Hey, more to come.
Absolutely.
In the meantime, that will do it for the Tech School podcast powered by DSDT. See ya.